Hi there, I'm Joel from Jonesy's Auto Restoration and Jonesy'sAutoClub.com. We specialize in classic cars, hot rods, and custom 4x4s. Occasionally, manufacturers of parts and tools and equipment ask me to do reviews and to demo their new products. One such company is called Quick-Cut. Quick-Cut manufactures wet sanding systems for automotive refinishing. They came to me a couple months ago promoting their products, and I got to be perfectly honest, I was very skeptical. And they said, you know what, we're going to leave this stuff here, and if you don't love it, then call us up and we'll take it back. Well, it's been a couple months, and I have to admit, they were right. I do love it. It's a great system, it's well designed, and I'm going to show you exactly how to use it on a real project that I've got in the shop. 1939 Chevrolet trunk that came out of the booth a couple days ago. It has a run and it has some dust, all common things that you're going to get in your paint job. Using their system, I'm going to take that deck lid and turn it into a completely show quality finish. And I'm going to show you every single step of the way. You can check out all of Quick-Cut's products online. You can request a DVD and you get a whole bunch more information from their website at www.quickcutsanders.com. Quick-Cut sells two different sanders for two different purposes. They sell a small sander, 3-inch, and this is used for getting out spot defects, pieces of dust, smoothing out a run, or really focused wet sanding. The larger one for kind of general orange peel and prep for polishing is their 6-inch. And what makes this sanding system so cool is the fact that the water is plumbed right in tandem next to the air line. So the water comes in and it gets distributed and it gets pushed out onto the painted surface while the DA is actually taking out all of the orange peel. Has a valve, a flow valve for the water here, and also a regulator for the air, so you can turn down. It's very adjustable so that you can really get just the right amount of water and just the right amount of DA action. Moving on to the other cool feature of the Quick-Cut system is their variable pad densities. Okay, and so essentially it goes from dense pad being black through soft pad being gray. This will be much more aggressive, but it will make your panel really flat, and then going kind of up from there. It comes in the 6-inch and the 3-inch. Quick-Cut does a fantastic job of providing really high quality media. When I say media, I mean the actual sandpaper. It lasts a really long time. I'd say probably lasts about twice as long as standard sandpaper. So you won't use as much material. It's a proprietary blend. They have it made by another company specifically for their sanding kit. Finally, they'll send you a bucket with a pump inside and a filter. And I put some tape around this filter because this filter is glass, and I did actually have one filter housing break on me when we were using it. Since then, I've been more careful with it, and hasn't been a problem. So for the wet sanding solution, you just want to use regular water. I like to use warm water, and then just put a couple drops of liquid dish soap in. You don't want to put too much soap because then it's going to foam up. The purpose of the soap is just to cut the surface tension of the water. So that it kind of lubricates and spreads out over the surface a lot better. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this bucket up, and then I'll show you how to put the Quick-Cut system in the water and get it set up with air, and show you how to start cutting. So after you filled your bucket up with your soap and water, you want to make sure you hook up your sander to the pump. The pump has suction cups on the bottom of it, so you want to make sure that it goes all the way down to the bottom of the pump, or the bottom of the bucket, and gets stuck to the bottom. And then you plug your air right into here, and everything else gets regulated at the actual sanding head itself. So we are pretty much ready to go here on the water side of it. And now I'm going to show you how to properly prep your panel before you actually start sanding. So here's the trunk lid that we're going to be sanding out. And this is pretty typical of the kind of condition that you're going to see on any of your panels after they come out of the booth. We'll use 2021 clear coat made by PPG, and we've got 3 wet coats. That's going to be kind of your baseline of what you want to use. Now you can see there's a little piece of dust right there, and you can also see through those fluorescent lights some of the orange peel that we're going to be taking out. In addition, right below the trunk hole is a sag, and I'll show you a pretty cool trick on how to get that out. One thing I will note is that any holes that you have in the trunk itself, you want to put some tape behind. That'll keep the water from soaking through and making the underside of your trunk dirty, as well as preventing any buffing compound from soaking through. Now, anytime I polish parts that are not securely mounted on the vehicle, see there you can kind of see some of the little dust specks, I always wire them directly to the sawhorses that I'm working on, because it would be absolutely catastrophic for this trunk lid to fall off of the sawhorses and come crashing down onto the concrete. One final thing that I'm going to say is that you need to familiarize yourself with your buffer and actually the wet sanding process before you try to tackle this or use any kind of power tools. And finally, I'm going to take some tape and put some tape right over this edge, this corner on this trunk, all the way around to help protect that corner, because that corner will absolutely get disintegrated if I make a mistake with the buffer or I make a mistake with the quick cut sander. So I'm going to get that taped off, and then we'll get to making this thing look pretty. So to prep this surface before we actually use the sander, you want to wipe it down and clean it with wax and grease remover as if you were getting ready to spray primer on. And one thing I will show you, if you come up closer, you can see how much I actually taped off this corner. It's not all the way into the surface. It's just barely over the edge, just onto the flat. And you don't want to get the tape out into here, because then what will happen is after you're done polishing, you'll basically have a tape line around the outside of your trunk lid or whatever you're polishing that has orange peel on it, and that'll look absolutely ridiculous to have this ring of orange peel around your part. So I'm going to get this cleaned, and then we're going to fire up the 3-inch sander and take out a run, and then we'll be in polishing. So to knock the high spot off of this run, I'm going to use a razor blade.